Hey folks, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Natasha and I do book things here. Today's video is going to be my TBR for Lalathon, which is a readathon all about books and Lala. She created it, but did she though? I think mostly her followers on Instagram wanted her to make a readathon called Lalathon, and then now it exists. I love supporting things like inside jokes and like funny little moments like that, and so I decided to participate. The main rules for Lalathon is that it takes place from November 1st to November 9th. A nice long time to read some books, and basically the premise of the readathon is to read her favorite books, because I think she's going to be rereading her favorite books. Something like that. So if you guys haven't watched Lala's video, she goes and breaks down 150 basically of her favorite books. It's intense, not gonna lie. It's a very intense video and I am impressed at the amount of work that went into that video. I was looking through because I was like, oh, like I know I definitely have a couple on my shelves that she has and that she mentioned. And you know, I'm really not trying to buy books, like buy new books for like readathons and stuff like that. I'm trying to just like dwindle down my current collection because my to be read shelf is actually packed full of stuff. So as I was going through her Goodreads favorites list, I'm just like pulling books and I realized I have 17. That's not including the Stephen King's that she mentioned, which at that point I have 20 books. And so I think I might actually make November Lalamonth. Just because, fuck it, I want to read books that, you know, I know someone with similar interests than me likes and has rated highly. You know, I picked up a lot of books on her recommendations. I've read them. Have I liked all of them? No, but I've liked the majority of them, and I feel like we have really similar taste, especially in just the variety of things we read and the things that we enjoy. So I am going to go through these 17 books that she mentioned that are some of her favorites that are a potential in my Lalathon TBR. All of these were from my existing TBR. So like I said, there were 3 more Stephen King's. There was Needful Things, 11/22/63, and then there was another one, Misery, I think, was the other one. But because I'm reading Stephen King in order, I don't really pick and choose from there, so I'm just going to continue with my next Stephen King. I'm going to go through most of them, just because this is a TBR. I don't know a lot about these books. Yeah, so anyway, these are all ones that I might read. And the thing that's really fun about this too is because there's so many different genres, authors, styles, feels, vibes, this is really fun for me because I can just kind of pick and choose at my own will, because I am a mood reader. First one, we have Girls Burn Brighter by Shoborea. This is, I believe, a contemporary that follows 2 women's journey trying to find each other. They get separated, I believe, by like different countries and what their story means about like coming together. I don't know a lot about this, but I know that I want to read it, so. Next is a book that was on several of my TBRs, I just haven't got around to it yet, and this is one that is definitely on the list for November because I just want to read it, and it's apparently a lot of people's favorite book. So that is If We Were Villains by M.L. Rio. I full intentions of reading this in October. Definitely featured this in a couple of my videos for October, but just didn't get around to actually picking it up and reading it. So because I don't want to be a shit, I want to just finish it and read it. This is all about a group of friends who I believe are in like a theater troupe, Shakespearean theater kind of deal, and something happens to them 10 years previous, and then they're all coming back 10 years after to figure out like what happened, blah 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 blah. For those of you who aren't aware, I studied art in university, but it was very closely linked to our theater department, and so the majority of my best friends that I still have from university are actually theater kids. Jeff is a theater kid, so I kind of know a little bit about that lifestyle, a little bit about the closeness of theater people, and then my husband and his dad still volunteer at our local theater, so I kind of know the personalities, and I'm really curious to read this and see if any of those personalities that I've liked and disliked from theater come into play in this book. It is a book that I really don't know anything about, and I don't think the people who have read it know what it's about. That's More Than This by Patrick Ness. This is one that I have had for so long on my shelves with no real desire to pick it up except for now. And like I said, all of these are stuff I want to read that I might just have an excuse to read now. So I don't know if I'll be doing a TBR star jar in the month of November because all of these are kind of like random picks from my TBR. Yeah, let me know. So it just says, Seth drowns, desperate and alone, but when he wakes, naked, thirsty, and starving, but alive. And where is he? The street seems familiar, everything is abandoned, overgrown, covered in dust. He remembers dying, his skull bashed against rocks. Has he woken up in his own personal hell? Is there more to this life? Perhaps this is the afterlife. This is supposed to be really, really surrealist and weird. Into it. Next we have Emma in the Night, which apparently was $20 at some point. That's great. I took my nails off, by the way, so I can actually touch things again. Who would have thought? This is like a thriller, I believe, where two teenage girls go missing, her and her sister, and then 3 years later one of her sister comes back, and I guess you're trying to figure out what the hell happened from there. Thriller, interesting. I like the touch of this. This is one of those soft feel covers. I really like that cover. Want to read it. Next is a book that's very similar to If We Were Villains. That is The Secret History by Donna Tartt. I absolutely loved The Goldfinch by Donna Tartt, and this is a book that I have been saving for a very, very long time. I'll be honest though, I'm not sure if I'm going to get to this month because I don't know why. I don't know if anyone does this, but they save books for special events. Like, I feel like I want to read this on a trip. If you've read this, is it a good book to read on a trip? I don't know, I just have this like image in my head of me reading this book like in Hawaii at some point. This is a bunch of like university kids, very chauncey, and some sort of psychological thriller. I don't know much about this other than I want to read it. Listen, I don't know much about any of these. Let's get real. Next is one, again, that has missed several readathons that I've just kind of glanced over. I think this was in my list for Contemporary-a-thon, the last round. That is A Quiet Kind of Thunder by Sarah Bernard. So this follows a character, one of which is a selective mute, and the other character, I believe, is deaf. And because of my hearing loss, I'm hard of hearing, if those of you who don't know, I wear hearing aids. I want to see how the representation is to me and how I relate or don't relate. And I have a feeling this is going to make me cry, so I want to read it. This has been highly suggested to me numerous times by various people. I think Julie was one that was like, you have to read this, so I'm like, okay. Next is Girl Made of Stars by Ashley Herring Blake. This is a book that deals heavily with sexual assault, where her brother is accused, I believe, of sexual assault of her best friend, and apparently it has just like really, really good talks and discussions about that in a very realistic way. Again, definitely think that this is going to make me cry, but we'll see. And we have another sort of surrealist book. We have Going Bovine by Libra Bray, and I tried listening to the audiobook, but the audiobook is really quiet and I can't like max the volume to anyway, so this is going to have to be a physical book that I read. This is about a 16-year-old who I think is going to die, and he talks to like a gnome and also a cow, and it's like very surrealist and weird. That's all I know about it, and I think they go on a road trip, which I'm into. So it's nice to know that someone else likes that book, because it was something that I'm like, the fuck is that? Next I have Everything Beautiful Is Not Ruined by Daniel Young Allman, who I've actually met, and she signed my art copy of this book. Still haven't read it though. This is a book about a girl's relationship with her mother, and I believe she gets sent to a camp as well. That's really all I know, but I should probably get around to reading this, seeing as I met the author and she was pretty nice. Next book is Foolish Hearts by Emma Mills. This is all about friends and relationships and friend relationships. Just like sort of a teenage contemporary stuff. I don't know much more about that, but I really did like Emma Mills' other book, and so I want to pick this up and like it, because all of her books are stunning. She has another one coming out soon that I also want to read. Yeah. Next we have Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel, and I don't know what this book is about. Like, I really truly don't. I think it's about like a theater troupe, but they're set in like a dystopian wasteland. Listen, I don't know what this book is about. It says, an audacious, darkly glittering novel about art, fame, and ambition set in the eerie days of civilization's collapse. So is it something about him being a self-proclaimed prophet? Is it culty? Is it dystopian? I don't know. So if you've read this, please tell me what this is about, because I don't know. Next we have The Rest of Us Just Live Here by Patrick Ness. This is another Patrick Ness on this list. This one is one that was in popular on BookTube, so I'm sure most of you guys know what this is. I haven't got around to reading it yet, but I believe it is a world where everyone is sort of like a superhero or whatever, and this book follows the people who aren't, like the few people who are not super or have any sort of abilities. It sounds kind of interesting and sort of like the outsider kind of thing. Yeah. That's that. I just haven't read it yet. We have The Martian by Andy Weir. This is one of my favorite movies, fantastic movie, all about the journey to Mars and living on Mars, cultivating it to a certain degree, and this one guy's journey to do that, basically, and there's a lot of potatoes. Yeah, I'm ready to read a book talking more heavily about the potatoes. Well, this is very science-based, and I love that. Like, I like space books that are heavily science-based because it's an interest of mine. I have a lot of interest, but physics and like, I don't know, theoretical physics and space physics is like, space physics is one of them. So I like reading stuff like that, and haven't actually read the book. Very interested in reading it because I do really like the movie. See what sort of ties there are there. I don't know. Yeah, want to read that. And really, is it a Lala favorite-a-thon if I didn't read The Raven Boys? I have only book 1, and so I should probably read this, yeah? Next was one that I was actually surprised to see on her favorite list. That was Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. I actually bought this book for Jeff because he watched the movies with his dad and he kind of liked it. He thought it was goofy. And so I bought him the book because I'm like, oh, you might actually like this book and want to read it. And this was on the list and I'm like, oh man, like I wasn't actually really planning on reading it myself, but I might now. This is set in the future where you're like immersed into this video game world. Video games are kind of his thing, not really mine, but I'd be intrigued to see like if I actually like this at all. Next is a middle grade that is Furthermore by Tahara Mafi. I want to read this. Oh my god, it's so beautiful. And I haven't got around to it yet. So this really might be the month that I actually pick this up for this, because it's just a girl's like search for her father, and she's in this world of color, but she doesn't have color. That's again all I really know about it. And like that cover is just, ugh, it's so gorgeous. It's like listen, I want to read all of these as my tower is like eye level with my camera. The last book on this list, I want to read all of these. I don't know which one to pick, but this one might be one of them. That is The Night Circus. A circus, magic. Why haven't I read this yet? Let's get real. I love anything carnival, circus, like just that whimsiness. I've heard that this is a slow burn, and you know what? I like slow burn books, so this might actually be like a favorite book of mine. And the thing is, I'm nervous about going into this because if I don't like it, I feel like I'll be a little bit disappointed, but I put a lot of expectations on this, and that's one of the reasons I haven't read it yet, which is a shitty reason not to read it, because I'm like, oh, I'm scared I'm gonna like it a lot. It's like, okay, just read the fucking book, like, it's fine. That's adding to the list as well, and that is, ooh, I just hit my camera. All the books are here. I'm just gonna scoot them over. I'm not gonna try to lift them. That's not an option. First stack of them. Yeah, those are the 17 books that I'm going to be reading, possibly, for Lalathon. My TBR is not confirmed to read all 17 of them, That's impossible because I'm also going to be participating in NaNoWriMo. there's your announcement video. So I know that I'm not going to read all 17 of these, but I now have 17 books that I put my faith into someone who, you know, likes them and is hopefully guiding me towards books that I will like as well. Leave me a comment down below of these books. Which one should I read first? Because I really don't know. I want to read all of them. I don't know. I'm doing that thing right now where I'm taking like 6 books into the tub with me. I'm like, which one am I gonna read? Who knows? And I'm starting like half a dozen and finishing none of them, so yeah, help me. Hopefully you guys like this video. Let me know down in the comments if you are also participating in Lalathon. I think it's gonna be fun. You never know. Check her favorites Goodreads list is a really easy way to see what books you might already have. I had 17 of them. So, you know, you might be able to find a couple on your current bookshelves that you're able to read and whatnot. I do hope everyone is doing good, and until my next video, I'll talk to all you soon. Bye!